Okay, I'm gonna start and I'm gonna type U support. Okay, that's a file name. Please do not add anything else. Just type the name of the part, because we're going to create a bill of materials that will automatically transfer all this information to that bill of materials, so we don't want any other miscellaneous information. All right, let's get started. Okay, and we're going to start with the plane. All right, and we're going to create the front view of this solid models. We're going to use extrude, placement, define. We click on frontal plane, sketch view. We're going to remove the filter, and all we need is to place a center line on the y-axis. All right, so we're going to create a rectangle symmetrical with respect to y-axis, and we place it on the x-axis. The bottom of this is placed on the x-axis. So now we're going to give dimension, and the height is 520 millimeters, and the width is 360 millimeters. Okay, 360. Next, we're going to use offset command because we have a thickness of 30, so we're going to use offset command, and we're going to enter 30 millimeters in the direction of the arrow, okay, which is a positive number. If the arrow was in opposite direction, we enter negative numbers. Okay, so that's 30, and then we have another one here, we call it 30. Now we're going to trim the unwanted portion of this shape, and I will just clear these lines. All right, and now we have the thickness here. Oops, let me see if I can see what I've. Okay, all right, great. We always double click on the middle mouse button to terminate the command that we have invoked to begin with to create the sketch. Make sure that you click on the middle mouse button to terminate the command. So now we have, you can see that there is a strong dimension, and this is a strong dimension, but this is a weak dimension. In order to remove that, no need to really worry about at this point. All you have to do is click on this line, and then you say 490. Now it's converted to a strong dimension, okay? And this is either you double click or you just repeat the dimension, and that's a 360. And now if it's not giving you a strong dimension, we're going to just click on the line, and then we say that's 360. Now everything is dark blue, and that's your dimensions for this. It looks like a U shape. Okay, that's the name of this solid model, U shape. So next we're going to, and do not worry about all this fillet and round. Okay, we're going to create we're going to add the round in a solid model when we have in a solid mode, not in a sketching mode. Okay, in a sketch mode, when you try to place the fillet, is going to cause a little bit of maybe problem with dimensioning. Again, you have to redimension. We're going to just leave it alone, and we're going to continue. Okay, we're going to go check, and then we're going to give the total depth of 280 millimeters. Okay, 280, and then we say enter, and you look at the you hold the middle mouse key and rotate them so you know the shape, and you wanted to know how the orientation is for this shape. Okay, all right, I hope you're following so far. Okay, I'm going to extrude that. This will be a good habit to extrude in both sides. Okay, and both sides, that will be great, because we're gonna have in case we need the plane that's a mid plane. By doing that, you're gonna have a mid plane. Okay, so we say happy, we're happy with that. Next, we're going to extrude cut. We're gonna make a cut in here, a sketch on the we click on this surface, the right side view, and now we're gonna change the shade to no hidden, so it's easy to see. Now with right click, you're gonna place the reference Okay, you put bunch of references on this right side view. Then we need to give maybe I'm gonna use the project to come up with a midpoint of this face. So that's great. And then I don't need the midpoint here. All I have to do is create a center line and give a dimension of because the diameter is 280 millimeters, the radius is 140, so that is sufficient. So that's 140 millimeters. The total here is 280. Okay, so let's, before we forget, we're gonna remove this temporary line entities. We call it a project. So let me just dimension it one more time here, so we know that this is a strong dimension. Okay, so that's what we have. Next, we're going to create a circle. That's the center of the circle, and we're going to make a tangent. Okay, tangent to this line, this line, this line. So let's trim that, and you will see the point of tangency. Okay, see that a TT is a point of tangency, and there's a T in here, but it's hidden underneath this symbol here. Okay, so we are ready to extrude. Okay, this is the tedious part. All right, pay attention. Okay, so see that I've created that semicircle or an arc, tangent to this edge, tangent to this edge, tangent to the top edge, and we're going to say okay. And this is you're gonna some of you might say, well, this is not what I wanted. I understand that, but just follow this arrow, reverse the arrow. We said we want that piece. We said, oops, there's something going on in here. I said, no problem. We're going to extrude on that direction, and it's going to be all the way through. Okay, we click on all the way through, and then you remove the materials. Okay, as soon as you click on remove materials, see exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to get those and the semicircular shape and the 140 millimeters from this line. Okay, great. So next, we're going to create a cylinder or the shaft, and that is placed on the bottom surface. Again, we need to create a project line, so it will allow us to come up with a center line, which is going to be in a midpoint, passing through the midpoint of this line here. So this way, if you want, you can just do the same thing. Go for this one, you don't need to place the projection line or project line. Just follow this, coincide the center line with the existing dash blue lines. Okay, all right, so you place it there. Now to ensure that that's a center line, we go circle and see it, snap. See it, snap to the center. We're going to create a circle with a diameter of 75. So the diameter is 75, and then we're going to extrude that. Okay, we're going to go to, oops, see that I forgot to remove this because it's a shade and I didn't see this temporary line. You need to remove that temporary line, otherwise it will not extrude. See that now it's saying that you are on the right track now. So let's continue and type the total length of this shaft, and that is 325 in this direction, and everything is good to go. And then we say we're happy. Then next I need to put a fillet radius. The external fillet or round is going to have a let's see, the radius of 50. Okay, let's see, 50. Let me just type in 50 in here. Okay, great. And then the same thing on this side here, and that's 50. We say check. Next, we're gonna have a fillet radius or round for interior portion. So we're gonna go to round, and then we click on that line, and that's not 50. That should be 20. Okay, radius of radius of 20. All right, so we got the interior or a fillet that define the interior portion of this shape here, and we have the fillet radius. So this way it will make this shape stronger. The stiffness of the materials is important when you use it in an application, so you don't want this to break. So that's why we put a round, a little bit a larger radius outside and a smaller radius inside. Okay, in case this was used in a cyclic loading or in a fluctuating loading, we want this to we don't want this to break, because it will have a type of, if the failure is by fatigue, and then the fatigue limit should be the number of cycles to failure should increase by adding the fillet radius. Okay, in engineering design, to become a solid model designer, or to be able to design a part, you have to have knowledge of other subjects of engineering courses. But again, this is the CAD class, and since I teach all the other engineering classes, and I have seen the problem with the design, and when we do the testing in the lab, and we find out the sample that we're testing for fatigue testing or impact testing and so on, the materials will fail in a short period of time because it was not correctly designed, or it was not reinforced by one method or technique. We call it adding the round or fillet radius. Okay, all right. I'm not done yet. Okay, I'm not done yet. So I need to create two holes that goes all the way through. Okay, placement on that face. So we're gonna go here in order to see where the location of that hole is. We're gonna click on reference and click on this curve, and then we say solve, close, and I will place the hole at exactly the dead center for this semicircle that we have created, and that diameter should be 50 millimeters. Okay, oops, we said 50 millimeters, and that's what we have nicely placed. It's a concentric. All right, with respect to this curve, they share the same center point. That's why we call it concentric. And then I'm going to go check, and this has to go in this direction, and we are going to say pass through all the material, intersect with all surfaces. So as soon as I click on that intersect with all surfaces, you see the hole is poked through this side of the U support as well. Okay, great. So we say we're happy, and this is done. Normally I like to put a chamfer on this edge here. If you're going to add chamfer, which is not really, the design did not ask for chamfer. For another problem they might ask for the chamfer. Let me see if I can show you how to create a chamfer, which is D by D, and D by D means 45-degree angle, and I'm going to give a radius of say 5 millimeters, 5 by 5, and I'm going to click on that surface and click on this bottom and this surface. So you can see that we created a chamfer of 5 by 5. Okay, so I think the design did not call for that, but I mean, I just wanted to show you how you can create, because a lot of students asked me in the past, how do we go about to put a chamfer on the shaft like that? Since it's not really asked for it on the design, I'm going to delete that. Okay, but there is another problem that you may need to add the chamfer. Okay, I'm going to delete that so you don't get confused on this project. Okay, all right. So, but if I was going to build my own based on the ideas that I have, I will just add chamfer, okay, to this end of this shaft. All right, so I'm happy with this. I hope you followed my presentation. The last part, I always like to give some kind of cosmetic color, and I will just use this color for the shaft, and we say okay. And then maybe let's see if I have some other color, like let's see if I have the library here. for maybe this will be that, and then we can go to this side. If you want to click on two surfaces simultaneously, make sure you hold the control button down, okay? And then if you wanted to use, maybe I don't know, this is any color you want, okay? All right, so that color here, and that's good enough, okay? All right, so this is the end of this solid model, okay? Creating this use support. So